Okay, this is video footage of Sydney doing the FastLeg drill. This is at Roar Park on October 15th, 2016. Now, keep in mind, of course, that Sydney's a fairly accomplished athlete, Division I scholarship level athlete. So he's a little older and a little stronger than most of the other athletes that are training with us right now. But also keep in mind that when Sydney first came to me, he couldn't do this drill either. So he had to learn the same as everybody else. So here it is in slow motion. So you get a chance to see some of the movements and some of the things that he's learned how to do. And I'll take the opportunity to kind of slow it down even a bit further in order to explain certain aspects of it that you can apply to your training and you can apply to your mechanics as well. So take a good look and let's kind of go back and look at some of the basics. So what Sydney's doing here is he's using the straight leg as opposed to the thigh pop as far as the movement between each cycle. And the focus on the exercise is to get the body erect with the chest slightly ahead of the belly button. What you'll see sometimes when the athletes don't have the strength or they don't have the leg mechanics down very well is they'll tend to lean backwards when actually executing the movement. Now, when doing the fast leg, there will be a little bit of a backward lean, obviously. I mean, not the fast leg, but the straight leg movement. But when it comes time to actually cycle the leg, the chest should be directly above the hips, and the belly button, again, should be slightly behind the front of the chest. And what you're going to see here, almost as if skipping rope. So you see right here, if you look at him when he executes the movement, he's almost straight up and down. Now, here's a couple things I want you to see. And I'm showing this one here because he's directly across from us. He's doing the straight leg exercise in between. And what I want to see the athletes do is when they execute the movement, here's the biggest thing I think a lot of developmental athletes don't understand or they're not coached this movement, but I'm going to show it to you. What you'll see with all good sprinters is when they are sprinting, and we call the stance leg, that'll be the leg that goes to the ground, okay? In this case, this is going to be the stance leg, and you're going to have the swing leg, the leg that swings up and over. As you can see, in this case, it's going to be the left one. And what you're going to see happen here is as this stance leg comes down to the ground, before you get full foot support, you're going to see that the swing leg, the knee will be recovered through. Here's what I mean. Watch Sydney's right foot. As his right foot comes down, by the time that foot hits the ground, you see that we've got what we call the figure 4 position here. So what you're going to have is this, and then you're going to have that. Okay? And that's what we're trying to get. When you learn to be able to do that movement while sprinting at full speed, you'll have the potential to be able to run your best. If you try to sprint by reaching out with the lower leg, placing the foot well in front of your center of mass and trying to pull back, you're going to struggle because your hips are going to be too low, you're going to spend too much time on the ground, and your movement from front to back will be too inefficient. There's a number of other reasons I don't want to go into it right now, but we want to try to establish the figure 4. When we're doing the A-skip drill, over the hurdle, or simply sprinting and doing bouncy marches or whatever, we want to try to get that figure 4 position right here. So you're going to see by the time his foot touches the ground, that heel is almost to his butt. So from here, we're going to try to bring that heel up a little tighter, and what we want to also do is we want to try to establish an angle where the foot and the shin are at or below 90 degrees, as you can see right here. So right here, he's almost exactly 90 degrees, and that's what we want. That will shorten the lever of the lower leg in order to bring it through faster and tighter. Okay? And what that also does is that sets the Achilles up where it's already being stretched ahead of touching the ground. We do not want to hit the ground with the toes down and the Achilles, for lack of a better term, being soft. If the Achilles is soft, then the athlete will have trouble getting back off the ground quickly. We want to be able to basically load the spring. As you can see from here, you see his hands. The front hand, you have the tips at the lips, and the back hand is cut past the hips, as you can see here. Past the hips, and we see right here in the front, tips are to the lips. That's what we want. We want to swing the arms from the shoulders by driving the elbows as well as the hands to the rear. If you do that correctly, the index finger at the back portion should be pointing to the ground, slightly behind where the rear foot would be if you were running. That's proper rear arm swing. We do not want the arm straight on the back end. And we could talk a little bit more about arm angles at some other time, but suffice it to say that the average arm angle should be approximately 90 degrees. So notice I said average, not 90 degrees the whole time. So if I took a measurement right here on the front side, we've got him, that's about 40, let's just call it 45 degrees. It says 46, but let's just call it 45. So we'll clear that. Then if we look at the arm angle on the back side, got him here, and we've got him right about 123. So let's call it 125 degrees. So let's add 125 to 45, and what do we have? We have 170 degrees. If you divide 170 degrees by 2, you've got 85. So basically, it's almost exactly 90 degrees. So average, give or take. So that's what we want. So we understand, of course, at the bottom part of the swing, the arm's actually going to be a little bit open, actually more open than it is at the very end ranges. So he probably opened up all the way to about 140 or so by the time he got his, at the point where his arms are pointing straight to the ground. I'm not going to go into great detail about it, but suffice it to say, we want to be sure that we swing the elbows to the front, tips of the lips in the front, and cut down and back strongly. Last thing, as we step over into the ground, we're trying to keep the hips high. The way we keep the hips high is that when we load on the ground, notice that his leg is almost completely straight here. But I see a lot of athletes who aren't as strong yet or don't have the movement mastered, is they'll kind of collapse. So rather than keeping the body straight, we want to keep the body straight and the hips high. Okay? Then, as the foot recovers, as you can see right here, obviously this is a drill, so it's going to be higher than it would be normally. But we want to recover the ankle over the opposite knee. And then from this position, when doing these drills, try to not let the ankle, if you look closely here, you'll see the ankle's here and his knee is here. We want to try to keep that ankle behind the knee, as you can see here. So when you watch him do the entire movement, you'll see his drive his foot straight down, hit on the ball of the foot. Not the tiptoes, not the heel, ball of the foot, as you can see right here. Then he goes to the next step. Then here he exchanges up and through. Notice that ankle is behind the knee, drives down. We want to step over, remember, and drive down. That's really, really important. Step over and then drive down. Okay? So once you get that and understand how to do that movement, right here we're doing singles obviously, but we'll eventually do doubles, we'll do triples, we'll do continuous, we'll do alternating, we'll do a number of different movements. But we must understand that sprinting is you have to step over and drive down. Try to not ever reach out and pull. If you do that, you're going to struggle. So step over, keep the hips high, drive down, hitting the ball of foot, and you're going to give yourself a good chance to sprint at your best.